President Trump just blew up American politics, and some elected officials might face real consequences.
Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. I'm in our country, I'll be honest with you. Okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care.
President Trump again takes aim at the Somali community as the flurry of federal investigations focused on Minnesota is expanding.
I mean, I have no worry. I don't know how they take away my citizenship and like deport me, but I don't even know like why that's so, like
just people who committed a crime.
Threat. Like, I'm not the 8-year-old who escaped war anymore. I'm grown. My kids are grown. Like, I can go live wherever I want.
But here's what the president actually said about Representative Omar and Governor Walz.
And who should?
Tim Walz over the fraud scandal in the state.
Look, I think the man's a grossly incompetent man. I thought that from the day I watched JD destroy him in a debate. No, I think that Walz is a grossly incompetent man. There's something wrong with him. And when I see somebody like Ilhan Omar, who I don't know at all, but I always watch her for years. I've watched her complain about our Constitution, how she's being treated badly. Our Constitution, the United States of America, is a bad place. Hates everybody, hates Jewish people, hates everybody. And I think she's an incompetent person. She's a real terrible person. But when I watch what is happening in Minnesota, and I see these people ripping it off, and now I'm understanding, and you're going to look at that, Scott. I hear they ripped off Somalians, ripped off that state for billions of dollars, billions, every year, billions of dollars.
Ooh.
And they contribute nothing. The welfare is like 88%. They contribute nothing. I don't want them in our country, I'll be honest with you, okay? Somebody would say, oh, that's not politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country.
Now, he's not talking about everybody from Somalia. He's talking about people who've come to America, live here, receive benefits from the country, and say that it's the worst place in the world. He's not talking about the majority of Somalis who live in the United States and love it here and are proud to be Americans.
Politically correct. I don't care. I don't want them in our country. Their country's no good for a reason. Their country stinks. And we don't want them in our country. I could say that about other countries, too.
Wow.
I can say it about other countries, too. We don't want them. We have to rebuild our country. You know, our country's at a tipping point. We could go bad. We're at a tipping point. I don't know if people mind me saying that, but I'm saying it.
It's true.
We could go one way or the other.
Trump is absolutely right on this. We are at a tipping point. We can see that he's trying to make these laws, and whether you like them or not, that's not the point. We can see that he's making these laws and doing things that needs to be done. He is the one who is doing the necessary evil in order to save the country. That's what it seems like. Now, do I agree with every single thing that he's doing? No, but do I agree with this, getting the illegals out in order to give back the jobs to the American people? Yes. Do I agree that we should get the people out who aren't even from here that talk about this country? Yes. And even some of the people that are American citizens, but we can't send them out anywhere, but it is what it is. Walz says, I mean, just look at Walz. He let $1 billion. He knew in 2020 that it was messed up. He still let it slide, still let it go on. Man is incompetent. But then people will look at Trump as he's the bad guy just because he doesn't say it in a very James Bond-esque way.
And we're going to go the wrong way if we keep taking in garbage into our country.
Here's that line.
Ilhan Omar is garbage. She's garbage. Her friends are garbage. These aren't people that work. These aren't people that say, let's go, come on, let's make this place great. These are people that do nothing but complain.
He's right.
This is the context. People said that Trump came out and attacked an entire community. That's not true, but he did have strong words to say about people who live in America while hating on it.
They complain, and from where they came from, they got nothing. You know, they came from paradise, and they said, this isn't paradise. But when they come from hell, and they complain and do nothing but we don't want them in our country. Let them go back to where they came from and fix it.
Yeah.
So he's got a point. If you're going to live somewhere and you become a naturalized citizen, do you really have the right to say that it's the worst place ever? But the president's already being taken out of context.
I just heard the president say that he doesn't want Somalis.
That's not true. He didn't say all Somalis. He just said the people who complain.
He's wrong, and we want them here. Somali people have been an extraordinary benefit. I'll say it again. Somali people have been a benefit to our city.
Everyone who loves America is a benefit to America.
Our city. They have started businesses and created jobs. They have added to the cultural fabric of what Minneapolis is.
No one's denying this.
No, exactly. No one's saying that. See, they're trying to clip it up as if to make it Trump seem like he's damn Lex Luthor or something like that. He's not saying every single Somali. He's saying the ones that are coming over here that are complaining, that are taking up all the welfare benefits, that are that aren't being productive members to society, that really aren't paying into the system, the ones that had a hand in committing $1 billion worth of fraud. Those are the ones that he's saying need to go back. But of course, they're going to clip them up wrong.
Welcoming to me when I first came out to Minneapolis. In fact, they were one of the first groups that I myself got to know. To again villainize an entire group is ridiculous under any circumstances. The perpetrators of any form of crime should be held accountable in the United States, regardless of what ethnicity, religion, or background you come from, period.
Unless, according to these sanctuary leaders, that person broke immigration law. Then they should be let off the hook. And the police chief says the city is going to fight back.
That they may be kidnapping people. Like, we have had those reports.
He says ICE is kidnapping
people.
people.
To the community. The community should know that if you see something like that, that is legitimate, that you don't know if someone is law enforcement, you should call 911. And you should provide as much information as possible, because let's not forget, we very recently had tragedy in this state by someone who was purporting to be law enforcement. So please, let's be clear. That's something everyone should report, and that we will immediately respond to, and we will document. Whether it's somebody's not sure if there's a kidnapping happening, somebody's not sure if that there's law enforcement present or not, and that's something else that's additional policy requirements that we are implementing, that we will document and report these types of things anytime that we hear it, and reminding our officers of their duty to intervene. So if there is anything that is, a violation of someone's human rights or civil rights, excessive force or anything like that.
Excessive force. So do you hear that? If people call the police on federal agents who are doing their job enforcing immigration law in Minneapolis, and they say that ICE violated someone's human rights, the police chief says his sanctuary force has a mandate to intervene. This is bad news. And apparently ICE may have a lot of work to do in Minnesota.
So what I'm understanding is they're basically going to make this damn near impossible in order to get these immigrants out, these illegals, not all of them, but the illegals. It's going to be a Herculean feat in order to make this happen, because they're going to stand in front of Trump's way every step of the moment. Americans will talk about how they want things better in the country, but then you won't allow the necessary evil, if that's what you want to call it. You won't allow the necessary, I'll just say necessary evil because I can't think of another word, to take place in order to clean up the nation.
Minnesota and their fraud on visas and their programs, 50% of them are fraudulent.
Wow.
Which means that wacko Governor Walz either is an idiot or he did it on purpose.
On purpose.
And I think he's both, sir. He brought people in there illegally that never should have been in this country, said they were somebody that they're not. They said they were married to somebody who was their brother or somebody else. Fraudulent visa applications, signed up for government programs, took hundreds of billions of dollars from the taxpayers.
That's crazy.
And we're going to remove them, and we're going to get our money back. And we're going to, this next year, make sure that we only put people in leadership positions in this country that love this country and have its back. So thank you for...
So she says 50% of the people using visas in Minnesota did so fraudulently. And she's not talking about one specific group of people. She says illegal immigrants as a whole are part of a visa fraud scheme in this state. But like the president said, you've also got people who are here and are not supposed to be here, who are collecting benefits from the government. And that's something that many people are upset about.
The idea for the American dream or the American, you work hard, you do your own thing, you get ahead that way.
Right.
Yep.
And so we have this fundamental reaction to stories like this where people are basically stealing. I mean, the fact that it might have been funneled to terrorism just adds another layer to
this. Some of the money went
layer to everything
to a dangerous group, allegedly.
But it's a symptom of what I think a lot of people have come to just expect. The bigger government gets, the more people have their hand out. And was anybody really surprised by this? When the news came out, it was like, yeah, I guess. I mean,
I'm going to tell you what, I really wasn't surprised. Like, when I hear that some top official or some nonprofit has skimmed millions of hundreds of $1 million, I'm like, yeah, par for the course. That we haven't done anything. How is it that people can continue to scam over and over and over again? You would think that this nation has been around for a very long time, and no one has come up with a concrete way on how not to scam, how to catch fraud before it starts. This is what I'm saying. I think Waltz had his hand out, and I think he was getting a cut from all that money that was being stolen, which is why he didn't want it talked about. Ilhan, she's on her way. She's on her way out anyway. She's on her way out. You can't come and bite the hand. This is literally biting the hand that feeds you. You came from a garbage can. You made it to a penthouse. And yes, this penthouse may have a few cracks in the sink or whatever, but it's better than where you came from. And we're giving you free housing and all these other things for you and your people, and you still complain?
It's horrible. It's not great, but
I don't know if it's a surprise part. I think, will there be accountability part?
That's a good question.
Yeah. People have gotten to the point where we just expect it because there never is accountability.
Right. Ever. No one's ever in trouble for this.
There's never the government all the time. And when we hear about it, maybe once in a while somebody gets fired or, they have to go on vacation for a couple of weeks. You never hear somebody going to jail for it.
Right. Nobody gets in trouble.
And it gets back to the idea of the uniparty. Everybody's protecting their own because everybody's using the government as some kind of payoff scheme. We have to pay off a constituency, we have to pay off somebody over here, and everybody wants to do it. So we just use the government piggy bank to just channel funds wherever.
Right.
There's never accountability because it's too convenient.
It is.
Tom, what do you think?
Well, here's what I think. First of all, if you think that the fraud in Minnesota is big numbers that are kind of eye-watering,
$1 billion.
just wait till you see the same sort of visa fraud, SNAP fraud, and Medicare fraud and welfare fraud that's in California. It will make the numbers in Minnesota look like a child's allowance.
And that's the heart of the matter here. If people are in the country without permission and they're collecting government benefits, that is essentially stealing because they're not supposed to be here and they're not entitled to those benefits. And if you have other fraud schemes like businesses that say they're helping people who are in need or who are sick or they're feeding people and they're not actually doing any of that stuff and they're collecting government money and then doing something else with it, this could be happening all over the country.
We're still trying to figure out what the COVID fraud was. I mean, the numbers for that.
Thank you very much.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's where you start. So in Minnesota, there's two sides to it that I see. Side number one, Democrats try to get what they believe is good use of government funds to give welfare to these people, voting blocks. So they feel they're giving it to voting blocks. Now, there's half of the Dems that then turn a blind eye because they know exactly what's going. It's remittances. And when you just see remittances is a code word for exported money.
Yeah.
When you see
sending
that,
it out of the country.
how much did the Somali community go to banks that we can track transactions, Pat, and send money overseas? Remittances. It goes to Al-Shabaab. You can also see, if you study, what are the size of remittances. You know what we could do, Rob? Just real quick, go ask for how big are the remittances annually from California to Mexico. So that'll give you, so you can look at these
$30 billion.
You can look at these two numbers side by
it's a lot of
side,
money.
and not all those remittances going from California to Mexico are fraud. Some people have jobs and are trying to send money home to their mom and dad.
And there's nothing wrong with it. There's nothing wrong with somebody who's in America legally doing whatever they want with their money if they're here legally and they earn it legally.
But that's not
Nobody's
happening.
talking about that. This is all focused on fraud, and it looks like fraud might be the big issue rolling into the new year in this country.
It's not. It's the biggest issue above everything else. Fraud covers other things besides just money. If you come over here illegally, then that is fraudulent. You have fraudulent paperwork, that you are a fraudulent person here in the nation. that the Democrats let all of these fraudulent people in here. That is the number one issue. The debt can be taken care of, but the fraud is number one.
Who's going to get arrested for this stuff? Who's going to get prosecuted this stuff? And right now, first you have to stop it. But you have one side of the Dems that allows it to keep going because they see it as a welfare program. They know the cheating is going on, and they just see it as means of people that are, getting money to live.
But if people are cheating the system, that can't be allowed. That's disenfranchising people who are here legally and need access to that system and don't have it because the money was sent to somebody else.
Rob, you had one of the charts that you had up a minute ago, which was phenomenal, showing who's getting entitlement benefits. Check this out. This is family receiving welfare. So purple is illegal headed households. Red is legal immigrants. Blue is U.S.-born headed households.
That's crazy.
The people we want to give the welfare to.
The people you want to give it to.
I had to pause this really quick just to look at it. So families receiving welfare, the purple, which is the most, are illegal headed households. So oh my gosh, the illegals receiving family receiving are getting the most money except for housing. Except for housing and cash. But even still. So then it says the legal migrant households are. So it's like neck and neck between the illegals and the legal immigrant household. U.S. born people are getting the less across the board. Across the board they're getting. But we're the main ones that are paying into the system to keep this nation afloat. Not only do they tax us to death, but then they give all the benefits to them. But then they say we don't have money. But then they send tens of millions of dollars, hundreds of millions of dollars to all these other places for wars that don't even... man, let's keep going.
You look at this, cash, go with a food. Look at what food looks like.
This is so crazy. So if the head of household in a U.S. family was born in the country, 39% of those folks are receiving any type of welfare at some point. But look at this. It's 59% if the head of household is in the country illegally. How is that even possible?
On the head. Marketing is easy. This one even said we should get some fancy cookie pop-up, and we...
That it is absurd
for anybody to say anything about it.
I just want to pick up on something you said, Mr. President, because you hit the nail on the head. That it is absurd that Democrats talk about an affordability crisis that they created and the people around this table work every single day to address.
Yes.
You'll hear a lot of statistics today. You hear a lot of statistics in our political conversation. I think the most important statistic for the American people is that under the Biden administration, the average American family lost over $3,000 of household income.
I wonder why that is.
And under the first 10 months of this Trump administration, they have gained over $1,000 of household income. What that says very clearly is that we are fixing the problem that Joe Biden and the Democrats created in the last administration. If you look at every affordability crisis that's confronting the American people today, it is traceable directly to a problem caused by Joe Biden and congressional Democrats. Why did homes get so unaffordable? Because we had 20 million illegal aliens in this country taking homes that ought by right to go to American citizens.
That's something that nobody mentioned. You have a large number of people who came into the country in a very short period of time, and they weren't homeless. They all had to live somewhere. Thankfully, they did live somewhere, but that couldn't happen without cost to people that live here and have to buy their own homes and pay their own way.
Why did tax bills get so unaffordable? Because Democrats were raising taxes while congressional Republicans under the president's leadership, we're now cutting taxes. Why did food get so expensive? Because we printed trillions of dollars and threw it into green scams that made our agricultural economy suffer while Americans were paying higher prices for food.
Oh my gosh, I didn't even know all of this. I didn't even know all of this. I got to look that up.
Issues, Mr. President, I think we've made incredible progress, but it would be preposterous.
At the same time, if you have massive numbers of people who are getting nutrition assistance and getting government money to shop at grocery stores, those grocery stores aren't going to experience any lack of business. In fact, they're going to see, wow, we got all these customers coming into the store. Everybody can afford everything. We don't have to lower our prices. We don't have anything sitting on the shelves because everybody here can afford everything. The more people you have on nutrition assistance, the easier it is for grocery stores to sell out of everything on the shelf.
Facts. Facts. And then at the end of the day, you know who pays for all that? Because the grocery stores, they're still going to get their money. Once you swipe that EBT card, that welfare card, they're like, okay, yeah, they probably want you to come in because they know it's guaranteed money. It's guaranteed money. Yeah, shop all you want. But then who's left holding the bill? The taxpayers. That's it. I'll see you on the next one.